just released, just like that, you know. Well, I guess all the pressure, all the attention, it was building. You know, it was really building towards something. This program tonight was originally supposed to be kind of a rallying cry for a protest that was going to take place on Thursday. We'd gotten to the point of actually renting buses, getting people signed up. It was really taking off. You know, we were getting quite a lot of interest from all over the country. People were coming from different states. You know, there was a bus coming from New York to Eastern Pennsylvania, which is where it was going to take place. One of actually a few demonstrations. And we were getting calls from Massachusetts, Ohio, even places like Wisconsin, where people were planning on going down and being a part of this day of protest outside the Northampton County Courthouse. So Friday afternoon, we don't know exactly how, and hopefully we'll find out tonight, but it worked. That's all I really can say. It worked. A lot of people, and I really have to thank the AI listeners for their incredible participation in this. We had hundreds of phone calls from people like you out there who are outraged by the things that have been happening over the past 2 years. And they called places in Pennsylvania, they called the prison officials, they called the governor, they called senators, they called civil rights groups, they called everybody, the media, and that resulted in more calls. They were being flooded, they were being avalanched with phone calls and with attention that they did not want. Finally, somebody somewhere along the hierarchy decided that enough was enough and this had to stop. It's all we ever asked for, and they finally got to that point. So I guess we really should be happy. We should be proud of the job that all of us got together and did. And we should never forget that we have the power to make change when it really comes down to it. There's a lot to not be happy about, obviously. That this whole thing had to happen in the first place is one of them. That it took Ed being almost beaten to death for people to really wake up and take notice. And we should be unhappy that it could be any one of us next. But for now, I think we should kind of relax and just take pride in the job we've done. And I guess breathe a little bit. We'll be taking phone calls just a little bit.
At a friend's house. What happened yesterday, he had to report to his federal probation, actually I shouldn't call him a probation officer, the federal supervised release agent officer. And apparently this person who was supposed to have been notified by Northampton County that Ed was coming by to see him on Monday did not get a phone call like that, so it was a total shock and surprise.
Usual way they do business.
Normal, very, very normal. But you know, they were polite. Ed had to take a drug test and wait around a bit for them. He also was not allowed to bring his wire cutters in to the visit with him. He has, of course, his jaw wired shut, and it's kind of important that he gets to take them around with him. But that wasn't too much of a big deal.
Okay.
The visit went fine, but basically at this point they don't know what his status is. This guy, Bob Schoenberger, his parole agent, said that he wasn't sure that he was the right person to supervise his release, so he was going to be in touch with the other authorities today. I didn't get an update on that as of yet. And the problem with that is until Ed is officially either on parole or on supervised release, the time that he's on this furlough means it might not count for his parole time. So that he's a little concerned about that. But all things said,
at this point in time,
he's out,
really,
at least. You know.
Yeah, just the fact that he's able to walk around and talk to people, you know, the way that he is able to now.
We walked around South Street last night, had a really lovely time, and he's walking around like a free man, you know, shopping in the grocery store, petting
great.
dogs, and you know, singing in the rain last night. But it was really a joy just to see him out and free.
It's unbelievable. We went to
and some rampant media attention looming in the very short distance.
Right. Well, you know, the funny thing is that now that he's out, all the media people want to talk to him.
Of course.
Everybody wants to talk to him now, but nobody wanted to do the work to get to the point where they could talk to him. But now that he's out, we're being deluged with calls. Can you get me an interview with Bernie? Where were you a month ago when we really needed some pressure?
Right, or even a week ago where,
Absolutely.
or 2 weeks ago when he was beaten up, where that kind of pressure could have gotten him correct medical attention when he needed it.
Mm-hmm.
But, no, we can't really revise history, at least he's out.
He is out. That's really all that matters, and I think that's really the focus of what we're talking about here tonight.
Absolutely.
But also, we have to point out the fight does not end here. There's a lot that has to be rectified with the situation. Makes me feel, and it's just a very valuable place that we have here, a very valuable way of reaching people. It's not something I don't think any of us should ever forget or take for granted. All right, I guess we can take some phone calls, 212-279-3400, and I believe Bernie will be calling in shortly, right?
I certainly hope so. That's
Okay,
what
although I would understand it perfectly if he's just so busy doing things, that he hasn't done in a long time that he forgets that it's Tuesday night and forgets to call in. That's okay by me, It's got a lot of living to catch up on.
He was clear on it last night. He was excited to do so as a free man instead of a collect call man.
Yeah, in fact, we were thinking of calling him, but I don't know, we'll see what happens. 212-279-3400 if you have any comments, perspectives, if you were a part of this whole massive movement and you had some kind of interesting experience happen to you as a result of it, or what kind of feedback you got from people, from media, from organizations, do give us a call and share it with us. 212-279-3400. We're at the end of this particular chapter of this particular saga, and it's probably the most significant end that there is. We'll be able to, I guess, go back and resume the many things that we were doing before all of this started next week, and pick it up, see what else is going on out there. We have focused a tremendous amount of time on this, but I think it was essential. I think it was necessary, and I think we really proved something important. All right, let's take a couple of phone calls. 212-279-3400. Good evening. You're on Off the Hook. Go ahead. Speak up.
Hello. How you doing?
Yes.
I'd say that I'm glad he's out. I've been trying to call the last couple of weeks. I haven't been able to get in. Just want to let you know something about 9X that people would be interested. Okay. Talk
Okay.
about
Well,
that?
make it real quick because we want to stay on the subject. Okay.
Okay. You know that when you use star 69, even if you don't complete a call, you get charged 75 cents.
I'm not sure. Is that true even if you get a busy signal? I think
Yes.
you don't sound ecstatic. You sound shocked.
I'm shocked too. I was
Okay.
just expecting something horrible to be said today, and I was just so excited. I thought it was a perfect way to open it with that recording.
Yeah, no, that recording pretty much captured the mood of the time.
Well, I just wanted to say something that I think is really important for those who thought last week that we should keep a low profile and not get out there and were afraid that something more would happen to him, to show people that this is what you do, the only way you're going to make a difference, and actually we were able to, was to get out there and start making noise, because being quiet before wasn't working. I'm sure he would be out if everybody had started mobilizing.
Yeah, and we have to focus on the fact that that's why he's out, but also we should focus on the fact of why he was in.
Exactly.
Why was somebody persecuted so much for something so minor? That's the
Right.
question I really want to answer.
I would even bet some people that were saying last week, no, keep a low profile, don't make waves, I would bet some of those would say, well, he shouldn't file any suits or do anything like that because he's out. He doesn't want to end up back in there. But I'm a firm believer as much trouble as it causes the person that has to do it, and try and prevent things from happening in the future. And so many people are just saying, well, it's over, I'll get on with my life. But if you don't fight for the ones that are going to follow you, it's going to keep happening.
I had a little bit of an update on that. As far as that goes, even Ed's own lawyer was one of, his voice was of caution, but he wasn't completely against what we were doing. However, having met with Ed yesterday, he said that there were probably at least 2 or 3 actionable items in what had happened to him. Clearly actionable. That means he could very clearly file suits on them. And they will be doing that. So even the keep low profile folks are jumping on the bandwagon. They where there's clear action, they are going to take it.
We've had several offers of legal assistance. Would that be appropriate to forward those to Ed's lawyer or to Ed?
I really think probably to both at this point, maybe to Ed specifically. He's very clear on what he wants to do, and you know, he's become unfortunately well versed in the legal system. And
Well, at least
prison
now he'll have the
laws.
chance to go and do something, go
Right.
to the library, spend all day there, you know, take his time, not have to deal with the ridiculous resources in a prison.
Yeah, he'll have
When trying to-
paper and
Right.
pencil and computer.
Just
and
getting a pen was a full day's ordeal there. And you know, I really hope that a book, a film, all kinds of things come out of this, because this is one incredible story, a lot more incredible than that whole Mitnick Shimamura nonsense. So let's hope that.
Many more people throughout the country that hear about this, since the whole thing that's going on now is bringing up the fear in people with what they like to call the hackers. And I'm not personally heavy duty into computers or anything like that. I, have my own thoughts on where we're going with this, but so many people are afraid of people that are what they basically with what they don't understand. And I think it's important that the word get out that this is something that's another what they're doing to bring fear to conquer and divide. Ultimately, is what it comes down to. And anyway,
All right.
I'm ecstatic and can't wait to hear from them tonight if we do.
Okay, well, thanks for your support.
Bye.
All right, take care. 212-279-3400, and hopefully we'll hear from Ed at some point. He may have tried calling in during one of those calls. This might be him now, in fact. Let's see if it is. Good evening. Who is this? Is anyone there?
MCI with the collect call from Bernie S.
Oh, he's not back in prison, is he?
Stop charges. Press 1 now. Or say yes at the tone.
Oh, boy.
Deny charges.
He's
Press
so
2.
poor, he can't afford
Okay,
to-
so we deny charges and be, no, okay. There we go.
This is MCI.
I
with the
pressed
collect-
one! Stupid machine, I pressed one.
To accept charges, press 1 now.
All right.
Or say,
There, you happy?
thank you for using
Yeah.
1-800-COLLECT.
Yeah, thanks for saving me money. Hey, Bernie!
Call is connected.
I know, I can tell, thank you. Boy,
Hey, I wasn't sure if I'd get a hold of you, man. Well, I heard you had a tree crash in your car.
yeah, it was a windy day today, and I just happened to park in the wrong place. But let's not let that little bit of gloom interfere with the happiness of today. So you're calling us collect, but you're calling us collect from a free place, not a prison.
I'm very free right now.
That is incredible.
Aside from the fact that my jaw is still wired shut.
Right.
But yeah, I feel. Actually, today was the first day I had to actually really relax because hanging out with you and a lot of friends and
Very stressful, I know.
the past weekend was enjoyable, but it was not an opportunity to relax. So today I really got the chance to enjoy that.
Uh-huh. Well, that's great. And so you're settling in Philadelphia and just sort of hanging out and getting accustomed to civilization again, I
I'm
guess.
chilling. I went to the supermarket a little while ago and was just treated to a smorgasbord of smells and colors and things that I hadn't seen for a long time. Of course, I couldn't eat any of the stuff I was looking at, but at least I could enjoy it vicariously.
Tell us some of the things that stand out to you now that you totally had forgotten about that you don't see when you're in prison.
Well, my olfactory glands were the most surprised, I guess. Because prison doesn't smell particularly good. So, I literally took time to smell the roses over this past weekend, and that was quite wonderful.
Uh-huh.
So, that was one thing. And, music, colors, sounds other than steel gates slamming and people yelling and screaming. All of that. Although I had a very rude awakening this morning. The friends I'm staying with here outside of Philadelphia, they have a Brittany Spaniel who, well, I should back up here.
Okay.
If you recall, during the time I was released from prison on Friday, unexpectedly, you recall we went back to the actual jail to get my the wire cutters that the medical department had in case I had to vomit and I would not drown in my own vomit. So I started to cut the wires. Remember, it took them a long time to find them, which wasn't particularly encouraging. Had I vomited in jail, I probably would have drowned. But in any case, you recall that one of the guards said that there was a massive shakedown going on. There were 40-some police officers in the prison with drug-sniffing dogs, and they shut off the water to the entire prison so that prisoners wouldn't be able to flush drugs down the toilet.
And that was while we were there.
Yeah, you remember? Didn't you? No, yesterday you ran off somewhere.
Well,
Recall that.
I got beeped. I had to return a phone call.
Okay,
but,
well that's what was going on. And
so
that's
I
why-
missed that, huh?
So anyway, this morning at 6 a.m. the
Yeah, there was this cat this morning, but I won't get into that. But yeah, it definitely made for some interesting dreams. It's happened to everybody.
Well, anyway, like I woke up with a start to this dog barking, and it was right outside my door, my bedroom door here, and I imagined with a start that there was like these drug dogs running into my cell, and it was just a horrible way to wake up. And for a few seconds, I wondered where the heck was I and what was going on, and then I realized where I was. But I'm hoping over time this post-traumatic stress syndrome will dissipate. But that was pretty horrible.
Sounds like an episode of The Prisoner. You just wake up and you're back home,
Yeah,
but you don't realize it.
I was sweating.
Yeah.
Anyway, but it's good to be out, and I want to extend a huge thank you to everybody out there who's been supporting me through this whole ordeal, because I honestly believe that had a big part to play in my releases. As you know, there was a whole confluence of events that I think reached a critical mass, resulting in my ultimate release. But all the publicity and phone calls and faxes and emails from listeners to the station and people who've checked out the website, 2600.com and so forth, and readers of 2600 magazine and other magazines where this story has been covered lately, have really, I think, played a big part in the pressure resulting in my release. So I want to thank everybody out there for their support. It really, I think, made the difference.
And you know, Ed, we owe you a tremendous debt of gratitude too, because I know very few people could have stood up to all this over this much time and not caved in and not given in to the sick games they play with your mind. You were always strong even after being beaten up by that person and put in the hospital and having all these horrible things happen to you. You never lost sight of where we should be going.
I felt that if I just gave up, it would just give my captors and the Secret Service and all the other people who were wrong-headed just some sort of sick satisfaction. I just wasn't willing to give that to them. Although the week following my surgery, when I was being denied medication, including no pain medication for multiple fractures and no antibiotics for a couple of days. During that 24-hour period, or actually 2-day period, I was really the closest I'd ever come over the past couple of years to just giving up. And honestly, if it weren't for knowing that there's hundreds of people out there, maybe even thousands, that were thinking about me, I think I would have. So thanks a lot, everybody.
All right. Well, let's take some more phone calls. 212-279-3400. Speak to Bernie S. live over the air as a free man. And let me just ask one quick question. This furlough came down on Friday. Where did the order come from?
Well, ultimately, it came from my sentencing judge, Judge Pinella, in Northampton County. What my attorney had been trying to arrange with the judge was to have him revisit my sentence and alter it, but there was no legal mechanism for him to do that. The law is a complicated thing. You just can't do anything you want, and there was just no. After 30 days, a judge cannot change someone's sentence, and I think that's put into play. I think the reason for that is to prevent sort of like corrupt situations or people's sentences are changed because they paid somebody or knew somebody kind of thing. But in any case, they couldn't change my sentence. So the judge came up with, well, not the judge, but the district attorney in Northampton County, who actually, the assistant district attorney, one of them anyway, who seems to be a pretty reasonable person named, the judge was Judge Pinella. Dan Polanski is the district attorney's name. A reasonable guy. He and my attorney spent a couple hours on the phone Thursday and Friday trying to figure out some way to get this worked out so it would be somewhat fair. And then Friday morning, Dan Polanski, the assistant district attorney, presented this proposal to the judge that he grant me some new thing they just came up with for my situation called an emergency extended furlough. So technically, I'm still a prisoner, except this whole furlough concept is for prisoners who have been participating in the work release program. They're by day working out in the community by day and coming home at night in prison. After several months, they're sometimes given furloughs as a reward, like they go home for the weekend kind of thing. Well, this is even though I wasn't on the even though I'd qualified for work release, but they wouldn't let me because I had a fractured jaw and arm. Even though I could have done some work, they wouldn't let me. And
You know, I do have to say, over the past 3 weeks, either I'm becoming accustomed to the way that you're talking through your jaws being wide shut, or you're talking a lot better. What do you think it is?
I don't know. I do know I have a bright career in ventriloquism. I actually goes all over. But I don't know. I've learned to be able to talk without my lips or my mouth opening and closing. It's just it's really exhausting though talking this way. I have to force a lot of extra air through my vocal cords and mouth to make the sounds I would normally be able to make with my tongue and lips. And so after talking on the phone or in person to somebody over this weekend and talking to all friends and supporters, I was so exhausted just from the talking. It really takes a lot out of you.
Yeah, it must. All right, let's let someone else talk. We'll take some phone calls. 212-279-3400. Good evening. You're on the air. Speak up.
Hello?
Yes, go ahead.
I'm really glad that Bernie's out, but I sent the letter on the 4th time, and I got it back on the 9th saying that he was discharged, but
Which prison did you send the letter to?
Lehigh County.
Okay, yeah. Well, I had some friends call that prison and ask that they forward all my mail to
Northampton County.
I'm confused with all these
Yeah.
different prisons.
Northampton.
Northampton County Prison, but apparently they did not do so. Um, well, thank you for sending the letter anyway. I really appreciate it. Because of my getting bounced around a lot over the past couple of weeks, I got very little mail that was intended for me. All ended up getting either returned to its sender or in some cases just getting thrown away in the trash in front of me because people didn't get their letters in a timely manner. Someone sent me a plastic sheet to put over my arm, which has a cast over it. I can't get this cast wet, which means it's very difficult to take a shower with. But someone was kind enough to pick up a special rubberized, looks like a giant condom actually, put over your arm, and it's got Velcro to tighten it around your shoulder so that I could take a shower without getting my cast soaking wet. And they wouldn't let that into the prison, and she never got it back either. So I imagine they just threw it out in an act of callousness, but that's par for the course.
Thank you.
All right,
Thanks anyway for the letter.
thanks for calling. 212-279-3400. How many pieces of mail were you getting? You must have been getting tons.
Well, I got a few. I got several dozen letters. The guards in Northampton County Prison were really perplexed because they'd never seen anyone get quite so much mail before. But the folks at Bucks County Prison, who were kind enough to send me to a violent institution a couple weeks ago, they were already used to my getting so much mail and made it very clear to me, in certain terms, that they were quite upset with the fact that I was getting, quote, too much mail, end quote. And since the guards had to hand deliver it, they felt like this was belittling to them to have to deliver to me maybe a dozen letters and magazines every day, and that they just didn't take too kindly to that.
That is taxing their abilities.
Sure.
All right. 212-279-3400. Good evening. You're on the air.
Yes, hello. My name is Donald. I'm resident from Long Island.
Hi, Donald.
How you doing? I turned on my radio and I'm catching your show, and I'm hearing this strange announcement. It's like, I didn't have a clue as to what was going on because I had been away from my radio because my hours at my job changed. So I don't know what's going on over there. And then I get this shock of surprise. It was almost like like a Orson Welles movie almost.
Well, that's how Friday was to me. Honestly, this was a complete surprise not getting released. I know there are a lot of people working on that goal, but it was a complete surprise to me. What was interesting was that I woke up that morning and realized it was Friday the 13th, and it made me think back to last year on Friday the 13th, which was in October last year, and that was a day that I was released from federal custody. And I thought to myself Friday before last, or this previous Friday morning, thinking, wouldn't it be funny if I got released on Friday the 13th again? But I thought, oh, that's not going to happen. And sure enough, it did.
That is really incredible.
I had a question for you.
Sure.
Yeah, because I wasn't able to get any news. I don't own a computer or anything like that.
You could call the 2600 voice bulletin board system. What's the number for that, Emmanuel?
516-473-2626. Donald.
Say it again.
516-473-2626. But let me ask you something, Donald. When you said that you just turned on your radio and you heard this for the first time, is this because you don't know anything about this case at all?
Oh no, I knew that Bernie
Okay.
had been railroaded into prison and that he was getting shoddy medical treatment, all this stuff. And then for about a month, I hadn't been anywhere near my radio, and I didn't hear about the assault upon him. I'm hearing that now for the first time.
Oh man.
I heard
Bucks County in the maximum security facility for several months, and then I guess in mid-July, I think it was July. Yeah, mid-July, I was finally transferred to their minimum security facility. It was not unlike the federal prison camp that fiber optics spent nearly a year on, again, a couple of years ago, in that it didn't have a fence around it. It was still very restrictive. You just couldn't leave. If you left, then you'd be a fugitive, and then they'd go after you with the dogs, kind of thing. But in any case, a reporter from a national magazine, Internet Underground, it's a Ziff Davis publication, was doing a story about my case and had been interviewing me over the phone, and you may have heard this. He'd faxed me a final draft of the article for my review at the place where I was doing my community service, some nonprofit organization where they had me digging ditches and so forth. And they had a fax machine there, so the reporter sent a fax there to me. And apparently that annoyed the prison officials that I would have the audacity to have someone send me a fax, which wasn't like that at all. But in any case, the fax was sent, and I was written up for a major misconduct. And the bad thing about getting a write-up for a major misconduct in prison is that it could delay your parole an additional 9 months, which is the last thing I wanted to happen. So I was found guilty of this thing, and I was not even found guilty of getting a fax. I was found guilty of using a telephone at the work site, which I didn't do. A fax was sent to me. I didn't even touch a telephone or fax machine. But
Yeah, I've never heard that part.
it doesn't matter. So anyhow, I appealed that, and the appeal was turned down. So then I filed a grievance against the superintendent of the prison, James Henderson, who suggested both to me and my attorney that I file a grievance about this because my Fourth Amendment rights were being violated in that I was not permitted to have a witness at my conduct evaluation board hearing pertaining to this fax thing. I called the secretary at the office where the fax came in, so I could have her say that I didn't use a telephone. But they wouldn't let me have that witness, despite the fact that there was federal case law, recent federal case law, which said that in prison disciplinary hearings, inmates have the constitutional right to call the only witness if there's only one witness available. Well, they wouldn't let me do that, so I filed a grievance that my Fourth Amendment rights were being violated. And rather than deal with the whole legal issue involved with that, and the specter of legal action from my attorney about it, they just shipped me off to a violent facility in Allentown, Pennsylvania. I was sent from a minimum security facility to a maximum security facility where there were a lot of violent inmates.
Bologna is back.
Yeah. And the red herring or false pretense that was used to send me up there was for reasons of protective custody, which was completely bogus reason. But the interesting thing is that Lehigh County Prison didn't even follow those written instructions that they put in protective custody. Had they, this wouldn't have happened to me. And the whole thing where I got assaulted was basically I was on the phone with somebody, and they said, a guy just grabbed the phone away from me, said, I need to call my girl. And I was like, well, I said, I'm not done with my phone call. I'll be done shortly. He grabbed from me, I grabbed from him, and then he sucker punched me. I went down, and then I saw him start to kick me in the head, so I put my arm up to block his kick, and it broke my arm and my jaw in 3 places. So I spent 7 hours in surgery the next day, and I think the combination of the personal injuries and my lawyer's a lot of work involved with my lawyer, and not the least of which is include is all the supporters who made numerous phone calls to the prison and the medical facility at the prison who refused to treat me in accordance with my surgeon's instructions. The fact the prison and the healthcare facility apparently had to leave their phone off the hook. They were getting so many phone calls. So all those things I think made for a confluence of events that ultimately got me the heck out of there. Thank God.
Quite a story. And one that I hope is told to many people in many different forms and in a way that'll prevent it from happening to others. So,
Ironically, I don't think, and my attorney agrees with me on this, it's unlikely that I'd be out right now if it weren't for the major injuries that I suffered a couple weeks ago. And it's kind of sick that they had to come to that for me to get out. But if I'm out, I'll take it. I don't know if I'd do it all over again. It's like a Hobson's choice. Think about it. If you get out of prison, if you've been in prison for a long time for what you thought were unjustified reasons, thought you could be there for another year or two for the same unjustified reasons, or if you get out in a few days, if somebody would break your jaw in 3 places and fracture your arm in 2 places, what would you do?
well, you see, I think it was more that is something that outraged people so much that they couldn't keep quiet at all.
It was a catalyst.
I I think if there had been a catalyst a little earlier where people were outraged enough to make all these phone calls just for you being in prison in the first place, then maybe we would have seen something happen even sooner.
Perhaps, but I think it took something like this to make people realize how just outrageous this whole thing was when somebody's life is actually become threatened and they're being denied medical treatment that their own surgeon said was necessary, that kind of thing.
Absolutely.
That would tend to get anybody involved.
Donald, thanks for the call. We're going to move on to another phone
Thanks,
call.
Don.
Thank you very much.
212-279-3400. Good evening. You're on Off the Hook.
Hi guys. Oh, Bernie, I am so happy you're finally out.
Me too.
You know, I've been calling you occasionally the entire time you've been in there on the air, and I think the goddess must be shining on you. Just two questions. In terms of now, I assume you've gone back to your own house or apartment. Is everything okay in terms of not having been evicted for not paying the rent? And are you able, like, to take care of the, daily basic necessities of living, or do you need, like, a home health care attendant?
Well, I can manage. The hard part is finding what to eat because I can only drink thin liquids. And so I've over the weekend somebody was kind enough to lend me their brawn and
Juicer?
Juicer. Well,
Yeah,
it's
well-
liquefied stuff. So I've been putting like bananas and milk and protein powder that somebody was kind enough to give me and come up with something that keeps me alive. It was much better than the stuff they're giving me for prison. These cans of something called Ensure, which are mostly sugar, and it was giving me this horrible diarrhea and just made me feel really depleted all day long. It didn't have nearly the protein that I should have had anyway.
Sure, well, now you can get into, I guess, like, fresh vegetable juices and fruit
It's
juice,
wonderful.
vitamins.
It's not as good as solid food, but hey, it's pretty good. As far as where I'm living, I'm not living in the apartment where I had been staying prior to all this nonsense starting back in March of '95. I'm staying with friends right now, so financially, where I'm living is okay for the moment. I'd like to be self-sufficient as soon as possible.
Are you able to sleep at night, or do you have, like, nightmares and stuff?
Well, like I said, I had a nightmare this morning, and while I was woken up, that was really funny. But last night I had a pretty sound. Last night was really the first sound night's sleep I had for probably about a year. It was a big bed, and it was comfortable, and it was quiet, and it was just wonderful.
One last question, I guess. I don't know if you mentioned it because I tuned in a little late, but I guess this is like the telltale question. That after all you've been through in terms of the persecution and the confinement and the physical, psychological torture and pain, are you still, or do you still intend to be active in the world of, whether manual and fiber or into, where you what seems to like you in terms of high tech and hacking and everything like that?
Well, it's been my livelihood for all my adult life. But,
You're gonna stay with it?
I am, although obviously I have to avoid the slightest appearance of impropriety.
Sure.
And what I thought before that was the avoidance of appearance of impropriety, still was not enough to keep the Secret Service from arresting me at gunpoint and putting me in jail for a long time. Even though most of the people who follow the facts of my case have realized that I didn't access any systems illegally or defraud anyone of 1 cent, but it wasn't about that. Basically, what I learned is if you're going to piss off people in power, i.e. the Secret Service, by, in my case, getting photographs of their undercover agents broadcast on the evening news and put on the internet and so forth, video when they're picking their noses, by the way, just things like that, they take that stuff very personally, to tell you, despite the fact that they're supposed to be professionals, they have darker sides to them, I think, that they will exercise when they get angry.
Well, I think it's less that they take it personally. We shouldn't be surprised by that, but we should be surprised at the power they have to inflict harm upon those people that do something that they take personally.
And what's particularly frightening is now that they have new vague legislation like that I was charged with, which can be so broadly interpreted to cover virtually anybody that has a computer. Combine that with their willingness to abuse whatever authority they have, makes for a real poisonous combination, and that's something I hope we can address in the courts as far as getting some of these statutes to be a little more specific about what it is, what conduct they're actually prohibiting, instead of just leaving it up to the police and
All right, thanks for the call. And let me just ask one question before we go on to the next call. How long are they saying that your jaws will have to be wired shut for?
6 weeks.
I'm sorry, I missed.
Probably another 4 to 6 weeks.
Okay.
But it might not be that long because my surgeon, an excellent surgeon by the way, his name is Dr. Mark Milstein in Quakertown, Pennsylvania. Not only is he a fine, an excellent doctor, but he really is a compassionate man. If it weren't for his efforts in contact, having his people contact the prison to insist that they bring me to his office, they were going to have the prison doctor, the prison dentist, rather, evaluate my facial surgery. That's ridiculous. So in any case, he was responsible largely for getting me to his office, despite the prison healthcare corporation's objections, because they wanted to save the buck. He said my teeth were extremely healthy, that I had very, very good teeth. Obviously, I take good care of them. He said that since I drink like a half gallon of milk a day when I'm in prison, I had a lot of calcium that kept my bones firm. He said if it weren't for that, my whole jaws would have ended up like popcorn, just pieces everywhere. He said because I had really strong jaws and teeth, it only fractured in 3 places, and good clean fractures that he was able to put back together. The worst part about it is the nerve damage. I still have no sensation in my lower lip or my chin or my upper neck, and he says that may return over time. He showed me the x-rays and how the nerve trunks travel through the lower jaw, and he says if those nerve trunks were severed, it will be numb for the rest of my life. If they were just torn or stretched, there's a possibility I'll get some of it back. So medically, that's my biggest concern right now.
Okay, let's see if we can squeeze in another phone call. Good evening, you're on.
Oh, yay! Yay! Jeremy, how are you?
Try to calm down. Try to calm down there.
Yeah,
Okay.
getting a hold of you a couple of times this weekend, but without any luck.
Oh, really? I was wondering what happened. I kept beeping and everything, but I kind of figured that you must have been exhausted with plenty of people. Well, if there's a way, I'm going down to Philly tomorrow for the Mia thing. I'm wondering if maybe I could call afterwards, or maybe, is that information going to be on the website? Can I get a hold of you now?
Let's see. I'm trying to think the best way.
Well, I don't think we want to put your home phone number in.
But and I'm using the phone I'm using is just at a friend's house, and I don't want to make urgent calls. But
Can you call me later?
no, yeah, I have your number.
Okay, and I wanted to say thanks also to Pam for her little hard work and setting everything up, and of course to Emmanuel and gang for being able to keep that up, all that posted, and wow, Bernie, I'm just so happy and amazed at the way that they do these things so suddenly. It was a real shocker. I knew you were going to start the show that way.
Jeremy, I want to thank you for all your empathetic energy. That really helped.
I wish it started sooner, but again, when that whole mess happened, and it's true that it does, although it does turn people into finally becoming vocal. The other thing that it did was it made the other people in the human rights area have to look at it.
Yeah, well, physical pain is the kind of thing that anybody can relate to. So, passivity is something people just can't relate to. It's kind of an abstract kind of thing. But physical pain and denial of medical care is something that people can just shudder when they think about it.
Well, we have to work on the captivity because that's something a lot of us need to get in touch with. There's so many people there.
I've always thought after this whole experience, I thought everybody should experience some time in prison. Not that I'd wish it on anybody, but it almost takes that to get the kind of insight that you need to understand what it's like.
Remember that was the first letter that I wrote you. Although afterwards, after this long time, I was beginning to feel kind of silly about that.
No, I wouldn't wish it on anybody, but for someone to get the insight that's necessary to understand how the whole oppressive system works and to really understand it, you almost have to go through it because if you try to explain to somebody else, it's just too unbelievable.
Yeah, I know it only too well. It's true. You couldn't create that at all. That's why
keeping you in prison.
computer and telecommunications
Pretty
fraud.
much.
Right, which is what I remind people not to use the H word here, because you were in just you're a parking lot, or you were just in a parking lot, you know, so.
The H word?
The H word.
Well, I guess we won't say the H word, but we can't say any more words because we are out of time, and I want to thank the callers for calling in. Bernie, again, congratulations on being back.
Well, thank you, and I've got to thank you for all your efforts too, because you played a huge part in publicizing all this, so thank you, Emmanuel.
Well, you're certainly welcome. I just wish we could have done this a lot sooner, and
Better,
maybe,
better later than never.
yeah, and maybe never for the people that are on the target list. So we'll be keeping everybody up to date on that, and of course, check out the website www.2600.com to get the full story and any more updates. And eventually, hopefully, real soon, you'll be able to actually answer mail at Bernie S.
You know, I will, in fact, later this week I will have an internet account, so that should make it a lot easier.
Okay, so you can still write to Bernie S. at 2600.com. It just won't be